Well, thank you so much for joining us on this AURUM overview. I'm an independent consultant. I don't work for the company. I'm here just to give you an overview, just to maybe to help you come to some decision to research and to have a look at what's available. What I'm about to share is just the due diligence I've done, and of course, it would be very prudent to do your own. But I'm going to show you a little bit about the company that tonight I'm going to talk about some of the products that these companies offer, and I'm going to also, for those of you that want to wait around at the end, I'm going to show you a very, very interesting affiliate program. Now, as I say, I don't work for the company. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an educator. I suppose that's what I am. So I can't give you any financial advice. Always seek the advice of a professional in whatever business it is you're going to get started in. I know Kevin's going to look at the furniture business, and Kevin will obviously talk to somebody in that industry. I know we both know somebody that that's in that industry. They will give him guidance on the size of factory he needs, on the whether retail or wholesale, on all of the things, licenses required or not required, insurances, overhead, that type of thing. Very, very important when you're starting any kind of business or opportunity to get the right advice. What I like about this particular opportunity is the fact that we've got Brian Benson as the CEO. Brian Benson from California worked for the bank over there. He worked in Morgan Stanley, very famous bank, and he was a trader over there. Did very well. That was foreign exchange, not cryptocurrency, but foreign exchange, known as forex, and. And he did certain other types of trading. There's other types of trading, is it derivatives and this, that, and the other, some kind of language that he used. But a real good guy, knows the industry, knows the business. And when he left the bank, he moved and worked for one of the biggest exchanges in the world. He worked for Binance, and he was also successful at Binance. In fact, he became managing director in Binance, and his role was to go and open a lot of the Binance operations in LATAM, in South America. Because he lived in California, he had great command of the Spanish language. There's a big Spanish Mexican influence in Southern California, and he majored in university, he told me, with languages, and of course, Spanish being one of them. He was the ideal prospect in Binance to go down and open Mexico. He opened Peru, Colombia, Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, everywhere in between, he told me. And his role was to do the banking arrangements, if that was required, whatever compliance or due diligence in those days was required, to open the offices. And he also got involved in the technology side as well. So a great all-rounder, and that's why we're very pleased to have somebody steer the ship here at AURUM. In fact, I just learned recently that the business that Brian developed for Binance represented 20% of the entire volume globally that Binance did, and it was doing hundreds of billions a year. It was bigger and faster than Microsoft and Tesla, and what do you call that other one? Amazon. This grew much, much faster, much quicker, and Brian was involved in that, and he saw so many people making incredible wealth with this cryptocurrency. He created thousands of millionaires over there, but now he's the CEO of AURUM, and we're delighted to have him here. If you Google him, you'll see him all over the place. He's interviewed. He's very famous. A well-got guy. You can see him here with the Binance shirt on. There's images here when he was much younger. I see you see here on the left-hand side, this image here. This was actually taken by Forbes, and Forbes is a media company, a pretty good media company, I would say, very reputable. They do the Forbes Rich List. They feature CEOs. They pull on a lot of data to find out who are the richest people in the world, who are the richest people in North America, who are the richest people in Asia. And they've got to get those ranks pretty accurate. You know, if you put Bill Gates at number 11, richest man in America, when maybe he's number 4, I mean, I don't know, but obviously he'd be very displeased if he wasn't ranked correctly. So they've got to do their due diligence. They've got to get their numbers right. And we were very pleased to see that Forbes had written not once about AURUM. They've written twice about AURUM. In one of the articles, I believe they wrote about funding of over 12 million US dollars. And that gave this company an original valuation of $100 million before it started. That was based on its technology, on its algorithms, on its proprietary, I suppose, licensing it gave them a value of $100 million. And I believe it was Forbes that wrote that. In fact, over the weekend, I'll try and get that data for you. I'll try and add it to the presentation. But here they're writing that AURUM provides institutional grade trading. And that's a little bit different than the Wild West, ladies and gentlemen. Institutional grade trading is a different caliber. It's where BlackRock and these big companies, the big finance houses, they use institutional type trading, where it's not, as I said, the wild west. It's better governance over it, tighter licensing, and obviously the risk management has to be very well controlled. So we were delighted to read this. And then we were also pleased that they have a relationship with the issuing bank for Visa and MasterCard. Now, I have the Visa in my hand, but they also are on the MasterCard rails. So when you see a company co-branded AURUM and Visa, you've got to assume that the issuing bank has done its due diligence on this company. And obviously, they would need to know who's behind it, who are the directors, who are the shareholders. They would have to probably ask for their company details, registrations, licensing, memorandum of articles, I would assume, and I'd probably ask for accounts if I was Visa, maybe for last year, how are they performing? And with all of that due diligence and interviews, then they would probably go into some kind of business relationship. But I'm pleased to see that that's there, that Visa are there, that Binance have even written, there's articles on Binance about Brian Benson in AURUM. Now, even though he worked for Binance, he's now with AURUM. Binance have articles about Brian Benson and AURUM. So all of that gave me good confidence about what I was going to get involved with. And then I learned recently that he spoke at the world's largest blockchain conference. Over 25,000 people went in here. The tickets were $999 if you bought them in advance. If you showed up on the day, $1,400. Crazy money, but it shows you the kind of people, the level of or the caliber of people that were prepared to pay that to go to a blockchain summit. Now, of course, Binance were speaking there too, and so was Brian speaking on behalf of AURUM. But they were there looking for liquidity providers for their exchange. You know, there was a lot going on, and I was pleased to see that they had a stand there, and that they were also willing to be exposed. You know, when you go into that environment with crypto experts, you're exposed to people with knowledge who understand the industry. And I was pleased to see that AURUM represented themselves there because they're looking to expand and looking to do business. They're also got the new AURUM telephone, and this is quite exciting. Guys, I'm only kidding. That was a joke I made about 3 nights ago, and I'm going to stick to it. Of course, it's not a telephone. It's the AURUM POS, point of sale terminal. Now, they already have these, I suppose, prototypes, let's call it. They're working on the software at the back end because they want to make it commissionable. Let's say when this goes live, you know, an owner of 14 coffee shops, and he accepts fiat payments with credit cards and debit cards, as he usually does. But you can now offer him the ability to accept cryptocurrency from any of his customers in his shops. So if you were to install this or instigate the installation of this point of sale terminal, you would get commissions ultimately on every transaction done through the device. So that's what they're working on now in the background. They're writing software so that obviously there needs to be liquidity here, because when somebody swipes their card, there has to be a bank behind that to make the payment to the merchant. So that's what they're doing. They're now moving forward with this. I do think we may see the first of these at the launch in January. That's what I'm expecting to see, at least 1 or 2 of these in operation. But right now, they're working on that. And also these ATM machines, which are quite interesting. These are two-way ATM machines. You can put crypto in to take out cash from the machine if you have crypto. So what you do is you have a crypto wallet. Let's say you need $200. You create 200 USDT. It generates a barcode or a QR code. You scan the ATM machine. It reads the $200 of crypto and spits you out your cash. So that's crypto for cash. But it also does the opposite. It's cash for crypto as well. So what does that mean? Well, let's say you had $200 or €200 or £200. You can go into the machine and insert deposit, and it will generate a QR code that you scan, and then that brings the crypto to your account. So it's cash for crypto, crypto for cash. This sounds quite exciting, and they're working on this as well. So there's quite a big ecosystem going on here in the background, which I'm very pleased to see. And also the exchange. Now, back last September, they suggested that they would have this for January 2026. Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen because they already have it. It's already launched a little bit early, yes, and not even in December, but yes, this month, November 2025, they released the public beta testing. Now, there's private beta testing, which goes on in the background, and maybe some affiliates get the opportunity to use it, but this is open to the public right now. Working, I've tried it. It's obviously not fully fledged. It's not in its full glory. There's a lot to be done, but I believe this will go into official launch next January, but it's up and running already. And that shows us we've got a company that's got great intentions, I believe, good intentions to provide a lot of products in this sector. A great product as well. Probably the best product I've ever seen is this. Not that it makes you the most money, but I think in the financial technology sector, this is probably the best I've ever seen. I've been involved in real estate since 1986. I would have bought commercial properties over the years. I also got into residential property a little. Not too keen on residential, but in commercial properties, I was getting annual yields of between, depending on the property, maybe 4.5 was the worst I got. Probably up to about 7, 8, or 9% in commercial property. So you could say commercial property might get you up to 10% a year yield if you were into real estate. For those of you that know anything about residential property, it's more risky. The tenants might pay. It's different than having a blue chip commercial customer than a house. But for that reason, residential property actually makes you more money because you could get certainly 10% yield a year, 10%. And that means in 10 years, you've got 100%. So you've doubled your money in 10 years. This product beats real estate because this offers between 17 and 20% a year on not trading. You don't have to risk your money in trading, on just depositing a little bit of Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP. I think it's great. It beats the gold business as well because traditional business people or investors, and again, this is not financial advice, but if you had money to put into property or gold or oil or something, and you're getting 6% of this or 10% here, but here's a product that can offer you 17 to 20% a year, this is going to be very big. And here's the good news. If you get into real estate and you want to liquidate that property, it takes you about 6 months. You have to find a customer. That customer needs to find a mortgage. You got to find a broker. You gotta advertise. Then there's all the paperwork. It could take months, and lawyers to liquidate, to turn it back. Here, press a button, you got your money. It's instant liquidation, which is brilliant. And you don't have to lock this in. You can have your Bitcoin in for a day and take it out tomorrow, which is fabulous. So I'm really pleased to see this. I think this is that's got to be the best the best, safest investment product I know of on the planet, that their product there. Now, of course, you and I are familiar with better returns than this, and that's, of course, from trading. And we do have those products as well. But I'm talking about for the standard traditional person that doesn't want to trade, and they're just into a very solid business. I think what's on the screen there, guys, is sensational. Let's move on and listen to Brian Benson. Brian Benson wants to create a billion-dollar business and 1,000 millionaires in the process. Let's have a listen.
I think if I have to sum it up in one word, it's ecosystem. At AURUM, we're building an ecosystem, and we're really trying to focus on getting this thing to a unicorn status. And what I like to say is we want to create 1,000 millionaires. And so if we can do that, then that will be a billion-dollar business. That will be a unicorn, and we'll be very excited if we can accomplish that. And we're well on our way to that. So
there you go. You heard it from the man himself. If you're looking for a visionary leader, a man that wants to generate 1,000 millionaires. Imagine you were remembered for that. Well, that's the guy that created 1,000 millionaires. That's what Brian wants to achieve. And if you think that's a visionary leadership statement, if you want to roll up your sleeves and go to work, well, we might just have a platform here that could help you on that journey. To get started with AURUM is $20. So very affordable business. You don't need any premises. You don't need any staff. You don't pay any rent or rates. You don't need to buy any products and manufacture. You don't need to ship them out or warehouse them. This is a very lean, mean machine. This is fintech, financial technology, $20 for the year. Wow. The only other thing you would need is probably an internet connection, and you're in business. Very portable business, $20, very little risk in $20. Most businesses cost tens of thousands to establish. Imagine having your own fintech business as soon as tonight. An international business is fantastic. This allows you to use all of the products. It's sensational. There are about 7, 8, 9, or 10 products there already. Never mind the ones I spoke to that are on the way, but they have already products up and running, and they're running for quite a while. My favorite is the EXI bot. It's done over 500% in 2 years. That's brilliant. And it says there's about 43 million trading. If you look carefully at the date there, that was the 14th of October. Well, that was a month ago. That was a month ago. It's now over $50 million trading in this one bot. Let me tell you this, they have 7 bots. This is just one of them, and there's 50 million in this one. So let's show you how it's done. The worst month we've been told has been 9%, and that was back in 2023. The best month this bot has had is 23.5%. So back to the wild, wild west statement. I know traders that could double your money in a day or a month or a week, but they could also conversely lose it on you as well, because it's not controlled, it's not institutional grade trading, it's people involved in it. When you use AI has a number of benefits. Number one is the speed. It can do like 10,000 processes in a second, which is it's brilliant. It's also faster than human. It can do at super speeds. But the main reason is it doesn't have any emotional attachment. There's no emotions. If it lost $100, it's not going to chase it. It relies on data. It takes feeds from the news channels, feeds from every exchange. It takes feeds from social media. And it has all these importing data as well as its own risk management portfolio. And I've seen these bots working. Like, I've watched it, and I saw on the Zeus, was it the Zeus bot? Yes, I saw on the Zeus bot that they have that sometimes it goes out to try and take a profit, and it actually doesn't go. It goes out into the market for 15, 20 minutes looking for opportunities, and then it decides not to take a chance. It decides not to trade, and it comes back to base without any profit. It doesn't lose, but it doesn't take a trade. That's what I meant. So sometimes you get 5 or 6 trades in a day, and maybe 4 or 5 of them are profitable, and then sometimes all of them, sometimes a 6 out of 6 are profitable. But I've noticed in some of the ones that were not profitable, it didn't mean that they lost. It meant that the bot went out. It was going to grab an opportunity, and it decided not to. Maybe there was information come in off social media or something that made it stop. But this is what's going on. I'm also told it's backed by at least 1 or 2 live traders are watching this, so it's not left to its own device. I'm also told it doesn't run 24/7. It's turned off and on at different parts of the day. But anyway, if you wanted to try it, it depends on the deposit what you're going to benefit at. For instance, if you tried $170 as a test, right, that's going to fall into the basic category. Those customers will get benefits for approximately about 10% a month. So this is not fixed, like it's not a fixed thing. Obviously, there's the market moves, but on average, in its performance over this last couple of years, it's been averaging out about 17.5% for the total fund. But customers that put in between 100 and 249 will get benefits of about 10%. And why is that? Because the company take the difference. The company take the spread. If the bot does 17.5% and you're in this category, you're getting 10. The company makes the difference. And I don't mind that. We need a company that's going to be around. We need a company that's profitable. We need a company that does not need to lean into other parts of the business to stay afloat. We need a company that's scalable. And I think this has all the components for that. Now, for those of you that can do more than, I used the example $170. Let's say you could do $442. Well, that'll fall into this category. Or maybe it was $708. That'll fall in here as well. Between these thresholds, you get about 11% a month. For those of you who can do higher, you're going to get 12%, et cetera, et cetera. You can see what's happening. The larger the deposit, the better the benefit for your account. And you need to think about this like a bank account. That's how I see it. All of the banks, or most of the banks now, are setting up these what's called neo banks. Neo means new banks. They're the new digital type banks. It's quite exciting to see this happening. And you deposit to your own wallet over there. Then you set the bot to trade, and you can stop it and start it. And the other good thing is you can withdraw your money every day if you want. That's good. So your profits can come out every day. On this bot, the principal is locked in for a period. There is what's called an early redemption fee. Now, that's the same as your pension. You know, we're supposed to pay into our pension, let's say for 40 years, but if you stopped early, or if you took your pension early, there would be certain penalties. Here, it's not so bad. After a month or two, they don't really count. But again, get back to the person that introduced this to you. They'll explain more about that. You can take out your principal as well. There's no doubt about that. So let's say, God forbid, there was an emergency. Maybe it was your health. Maybe it was a financial crisis in the household. You can take out the principal on the first day of the month, the 10th day of the month, and the 20th day of every month. So the principal is not locked in, but it's advised to in this particular bot to leave it for about 12 months. After 12 months, there's absolutely no lock-in. Now, we have 7 bots. This is just one. The other 6 don't have what I just said. You can take out your profit and your principal anytime you want. So they've all got different rules and conditions to allow you to build your own portfolio to suit your needs. If you need cash flow, this is a great one if you need cash flow, because the principal can trade. You can take out your profit every day if you need money every day. There's different advantages. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is an overview. We're not here to give you every specific detail on this overview. We're here to give you a feeling about it. Here's the company, here's what we've looked at, here's some of their product range, just to give you a nice feel for it. And then, of course, if you get back to the person that shared this with you, they should be fit to fill you in with any other details you require. I'd like to show you this account here. It's a small account in my estimation. It was a $500 deposit. It was done on the 17th. Can you see here on the bottom left? Created on the 17th of April. And if we look on the bottom right, ladies and gentlemen, cast your eyes down there, the 17th of September. So this account performance has been trading for just 5 months. And in those 5 months, it has made a profit of $382. Yeah, if there's 882 there at that point, 500 from that is 382. Now, you've to ask yourself, is that good? Is $382 profit on a 500 deposit? Is that good in 5 months? What do you think? It's all kind of relative. What I looked at, and I thought it was okay, but a friend of mine said, that's rubbish. And I said, what do you mean it's rubbish? He says, well, you made $382 in 5 months. And I went, yes. And why is that rubbish? Well, it's only $382. You couldn't live on it. And I went, well, it's all relative, because, how you work out the percentages as follows. You take the profit, which is 382, and you set that on top of 500. So you divide the 500. Do you remember at school? You divide the 500, the bottom number, into the top number. So the profit is 382. The deposit was 500. And when you divide that into that, you'll find that this account has done 76% in 5 months. Guys, that's sensational. For a small account, 76%. For my buddy, how I projected that to my friend who complained about that. No, he didn't complain. He just thought it wasn't good enough. I said to him, well, if you bought a house for $100,000 on the 17th of April this year, and on the 17th of September, you sold that house for $176,000. Is that good business? He said, yeah, that's great, because you made 76,000. I said, yeah, this is the same. It's 76%. It's all relative. So I thought this was very, very good for a small account, guys. Now, here's a larger account started on the 10th of April this year. And if we look in the bottom right, we're looking at the 16th of May. Can you see that? 10:23 in the morning at 16th of May, this account had made $2,360. So let's calculate that. So it was 10,000 deposit on the 10th of April. And on the 16th of May, that's 5 weeks later, this account made $2,300. That's 23%. That's fabulous. Now, after 10 weeks, the same account had grown all the way up to 15,500. Now, it didn't make 15,500 because 10 was the deposit. It actually made 5,500, which is brilliant. It's over 500 a week. And as a supplementary income, to any household, an extra 500 a week would be very, very special. After 3 months, you can see yourself, the account went up to 17,000, 17 and a half nearly. And then after 4 months, this particular account doubled. Now, guys, past performance is not indicative of future results. Let me make that clear. The reason this account did it was because, can you see here, this little button? It's a white button inside a green slider. When you open an account with these guys, they don't tell you where this button is, nor do they touch it. It's up to you to locate this button. It's up to you, or maybe the person who introduced you, to show you this is, if you'd like to use it. It's your prerogative. And what it actually means is, it's if you have this in the on position, that's to the right-hand side, you can flick it and it goes left, right? But on the right-hand side, if the button's over to the right, it means your profit that you make today stays on the exchange. It stays inside Binance, right? Or if that's where they're trading on Binance and what's those other exchanges, KuCoin and OKX and big exchanges, because that's where the liquidity is, right? That's where the money is. I assume once their own exchange gets up and running out of beta testing, that they'll probably move some of these products over there, and then they'll be able to show us the trades on their own exchange. But right now, they're trading over on KuCoin, what I said, Binance, where else? OKX. Sometimes I get those names mixed up because I don't have accounts there. That's why not overly familiar with, but I know the names. So if you made profit today, it'll stay on Binance with your principal, and then you've got your profit and principal working together collectively, and that's what's known as the compounding effect. If you don't understand that, it's described as the eighth wonder of the world. It was Einstein that called it that. You go to Google or go to YouTube or Chat GPT and ask it, give me a video to explain the effects of daily compounding. And if you watch that video, you'll see how serious things can get when you do that. Now, of course, if you need cash flow, don't do that. Don't. Let the profit come out every day to your wallet so you can withdraw and live on and pay some bills. So everybody's different. I'm not here to give you any advice. I'm not here to say one thing or another. I'm only telling you, I'm giving you an overview of what's possible. And of course, as my dad said, you're big enough, ugly enough, and old enough to make your own decisions, And I keep laughing at that. Dad, I want to buy this car. What do you think? You're big enough and ugly enough and old enough to make your own decisions. Oh, Dad, I was going to buy this pony for my son. What do you think? Listen, son, you're old enough and ugly enough and big enough to make your own decisions. So there we go. Anyway, with that said, guys, I'd like to give you an update on this particular account. And I want you to look in the bottom left, right-hand corner, bottom right. Can you see that? On the 10th of November. Now, that was very recently, 10th of November. And why that's prudent is because if we look at that account we looked at earlier on the 10th of April, this means it's 7 months trading. Okay, so we saw there 4 months doubled. But what happened after 7 months? The $10,000 is now at 33,000. Isn't that incredible? In 7 months. The one above it, let's have a look at the one above it. That was that 500 account we looked at. The 500 account went to 882. We saw that. Remember the 76%? Well, it's traveled on since then. It's over $1,000, and obviously there's a couple of extra deposits now. There was $23,000 deposit, and now another 12,000 deposits. So there's over $70,000 trading in this account. Also, I want you to notice that these withdrawal buttons are bright blue. What does that mean? You can withdraw. How can you withdraw your principal? You can withdraw it on the first day of the month. And look at the bottom of the screen. This is the 10th of November, the 10th day of the month, and the 20th. So if you ever notice, I'll just go back and show you a little bit of training here. If we look at this, what we looked at earlier where my mouse is, you see the withdraw button is grayed out. You can only withdraw your profit, not the principal. This is for the principal. Because this was the 16th of May, you can't withdraw it. Because this was the 24th of June, you can't withdraw it. But because this was the 10th of July, it's one of the withdrawal dates. It's the 1st, the 10th, or 20th of every month. So on the 10th of July, the blue button come on, you can withdraw your principal. On the 10th of August, the blue button come on, you can withdraw. 1st, 10th, 20th, you can withdraw your principal. Every other day, you can withdraw your profits if you're not reinvesting it into the principal. So Because this is the 10th of April or 10th of November, the blue button's on. So if you went into that account right now, all of these blue buttons are off because it's not the 10th today, it's the 13th. The next day, these buttons will go blue as on the 20th if you needed to touch your principal. Now, moving on, let's talk about some other bots. That's one product, my favorite. I think it's everybody's favorite. It's the best performing one. I think that's probably why it's the favorite. But they do other bots and they're testing new ones as well in the background. But they have 6 other bots available on Telegram. One of these is called the Pro bot, and the other one's called the Zeus bot. And these are for pairs trading only. So it'll trade just Bitcoin or Ethereum against the dollar. It'll trade Doge against the dollar or Pepe or BNB. So there's 6 bots over on Telegram. Now, if you're familiar with Telegram, it's just an app. It's a communication channel. It's decentralized. You search for AURUM Neobank. You open the app and you log in with your credentials. Now, over there, you can order your card over there. And we'll talk about the card in a moment. But I want to show you these extra bots that they also have. These are quite cool as well. As I said, there's a one for Doge trading against the dollar, so it doesn't trade any other pairs. The one we've just looked at, I believe, trades the top 15 or the top 30 pairs on CoinMarketCap. Okay, that's what happens over there. This one, for instance, the Bitcoin one we're looking at is only Bitcoin against the dollar. And this is the one that makes 5, 6, or 7 trades a day. You can see every trade in the back office. You can see the opening price, the closing price. You can see the spread. You can see the profit and loss. And there's also a hyperlink there that would pull you across to the exchange that it was traded on. Now, with that said, we'll just take a quick look at this account. This account was funded with 0.7 Bitcoin. Now, it says 0.81. We all can see that, but it was originally deposited 0.7. I know exactly when that was. It was on the 31st of May this year. So May, so we don't count May because it was the last day. So there was June, July, August, September. We count October as well. But we're not going to count this month of November because it's not over yet. So we'll count 5 months. The account went from 0.7 of a Bitcoin to 0.72, 0.77, 0.79, 8.1. You can see the 8.1 on the screen, but I want you to watch the screen like a hawk because it didn't stop at 0.81. It went from 0.81 to 0.82 to 0.84 of a Bitcoin to 0.88. And I know lots of you followed this account since back at this stage. It went from 0.88 up to 0.91, and we followed it on to 0.93, 96, 99. And I'm going to say 10 days ago, maybe towards the end of last month, at the beginning of this month, this account reached 1 full Bitcoin. So 0.7 of a Bitcoin. You know, think about it. Good 0.7 of a Bitcoin sitting offline or online in a hard wallet, a cold wallet, a hot wallet, a decentralized wallet, a centralized wallet, doesn't matter. If you have 0.7 sitting there today and it's 0.7, what was it yesterday? 0.7. What was it the day before? 0.7. What was it 6 months ago? 0.7. It doesn't move. It's always 0.7. Now, what moves is the price. Oh, Bitcoin's 110. Oh, Bitcoin's 120. Oh, Bitcoin's 105. Bitcoin. So the price moved, but it still stayed at 0.7. But over here, it was able to grow from 0.7 to 1 full Bitcoin. And if we just check right now, for interest's sake, I always do this. Let's just check how much the profit it was. How much was 0.3 Bitcoin in US dollars, please? See that? Specify a date or time. Okay, hold on. Hi, please tell me how much is 0.3 Bitcoin in US dollars, please? There we go. $29,600. So this account has generated $29,000 in 5 months. The customer that owns this account does not know how to trade. The customer that owns this account doesn't want to know how to trade. The AI does all the trading for them. It's taken 5 months. It's been $29,000, $30,000 without any customers, without any requirement for a Zoom, and with 10 minutes training. because all you have to do here is know how to stop the bot trading and how to start it again. And you click a button twice, you can put your profit into your principal and compound over here too. So this is great. Find out more about these bots. There's a BNB one there that trades against the dollar. There's a Pepe one. There's a Litecoin, and there's an Ethereum one. So it only does those six, and I think they're developing more in the background. But there's plenty here to get on with at the moment. Some of the big guys are also trading over here. There's a guy put in a Bitcoin. Here's another gentleman I know very well. Put in 2.75 Bitcoin. Uh, it's not 2.75 anymore, actually. It went up to 2.81, then it went up to 2.9. And presently, because 2 or 3 days ago, he updated me and told me, hey, I've now got 3 Bitcoins. So he started with 2.75 now. He's got 3 Bitcoins, and he wants to bring that to 5 Bitcoins. So if you've any bit money sitting on exchange doing nothing, if it's sitting idle, there's an opportunity here, I suppose, to get your money to work for you rather than staying finite. So that's a great product. My last product I want to talk about is the card. Brilliant product. There are two versions. There's a KYC model version and there's a non KYC. Really, there's a choice here at the moment. I prefer the non KYC, so we don't need your passport, your utility bill. That's always a problem. These companies asking for your phone bill, and you have to give them like a paper bill, which we don't get anymore. They're all digital, and and sometimes you can use your driving license instead of your passport. Here, you don't need any of that. You can just order it online. You have it instantly, and you can connect it to Apple Pay and Google Pay, and off you go. It's really cool. You can stop the bot and put your crypto onto this card, and go shopping wherever Visa and Mastercard are accepted. So great product. They're going to add cashback benefits. That's coming very soon. They're also going to add a loyalty program for using it. Maybe there could be opportunities in the future. Say you're at the airport, you got the black card that might let you into the VIP lounge, things like that, or promotions or travel holidays and stuff. So they're very keen on this particular product. I think it's sensational. The cards will be available from as little as $33 with no monthly fees. $66 one time off with no monthly fees, $99 one time off. But the one I like and the only one I talk about is the one I use. So I generally only talk about products that I use myself. I can't talk about a product that I haven't tried yet. So I love this one. It's $249, no KYC. You can put 100,000 a month on it. It's got the most commission, blah blah blah. Lots of stuff to learn about this. But because this is an overview, you don't need to understand all the details. That's the point. You can learn more training. You can go back again, or you can tiptoe through this information in bits and pieces. Let's show you the card working. This is the second transaction ever conducted in the United Kingdom, and this was done back in June this year. So this guy's been using this card for 6 months. Have a listen.
Here we go then, second official transaction.
No, purple and white. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Mina.
Thank you.
Such a simple way. I mean, people know how to tap a card, guys. The education isn't that difficult, but imagine being able to spend your cryptocurrency anywhere where Visa and Master accepted. It also works at the ATM machines. We can withdraw from the ATM machines your crypto. It's sensational. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wrap up tonight's presentation. We've looked at the CEO and one of the stakeholders in this company called Mr. Brian Benson. He was ex-Morgan Stanley, then worked for Binance, very successful over there. He's the CEO. He spoke at the world's largest blockchain summit. Over 25,000 people went down there. Right now, I can tell you he's in Argentina because the world's largest Ethereum conference is on this week in Argentina. I can tell you in 2 weeks from now, he's in Germany at a blockchain conference. So what he's doing, he's out there negotiating. He's out there looking for liquidity providers. He's out there looking for merchant services and suppliers. He's out there putting the AURUM name out there, almost like a brand ambassador. He's the CEO out developing this for the community, and that's fantastic. We also saw that Forbes had written positively about it. We show you some of the products, 3 or 4 of them. We show you how they profit. We showed you the card and how that worked and people using it. And really, that's it tonight. We just wanted to give you an overview. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, do your homework, get back to the person that shared this with you. And more importantly, if you like what you see, why not open yourself a little account? It's only $20 and get your little business started. So Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again real soon.